Welcome back to the Tech Ascent podcast, the show where we dive into the trends, strategies, and success stories that are reshaping the tech landscape as we know it today. I'm your host, Oliver Clingain. I'm also the founder of Ascension, the premier business development partner within tech. Today, we've got another great guest joining us, joined by Richard Sellar, the founder and CEO of Stellar One. Richard, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Oliver. Great to be here. Great to talk to you again. Always nice to get a chance to have a conversation.
Yeah, for sure. It's great to have you on. And like you said, it's great to talk to you as well. Would you mind kicking us off, telling the audience a little bit about what you guys do at Stellar One?
Yeah, absolutely. Love to. So, first of all, my name's Richard Sellar, as Oliver mentioned, CEO and founder of Stellar One. So at Stellar One, we're on a mission to really make it easy for small and mid-sized businesses to scale effectively. The problem a lot of companies have is that they don't have a strategic partner or foundational systems in place to streamline their core business processes and support critical decision making. So they feel stuck and frustrated because they just can't get where they want to go. So really what we do here at Stellar One is we provide a revolutionary way for people to acquire and deploy and utilize ERP systems and foundational systems to help their businesses scale and achieve their growth dreams.
Yeah, very cool. And Richard, we do have an audience of people all across the tech space. Would you mind just doing a quick 101 of what an ERP system is, what it does, what the benefits are?
Absolutely. Yeah. The easiest way to think about it is it's the software that runs the back office functions of your company. So finance and accounting, distribution, manufacturing. Most oftentimes there are integrations to e-commerce. There can be CRM capabilities in the ERP system. They tend to be lighter in nature. They're not going to compete head to head with the CRM dedicated solutions, but they're there if you don't need the heavy CRM, and then they'll integrate to CRM systems as well. If you have heavier needs, but really it's that core foundational business process that it's running. So it's making sure that everything you do in the organization transactionally all ties together and flows back to your financial statements.
Makes perfect sense. And when you're kicking off Stellar One, what did you see in the market that made you want to start your own company?
So I've been in this industry since 1997. A lot of things that are broken. We're still in a lot of ways stuck in the 1980s, which is when ERP systems really started coming into their own. And I'm not going to end my career until I fix a lot of the things that are out there. So we're really excited about some of the things we're rolling out right now in terms of just how to go to market. There was a fundamental shift. There are companies that have moved to a subscription model. That's probably been the biggest shift in our industry in the last 40 years. Sad to say that is the biggest thing. There should be much bigger things. So what we're out to do, what I'm excited about, what makes me really passionate and what gets me up in the morning is this opportunity to just go change completely the landscape of how ERP systems are used with companies and get out of this whole mindset of, it's really an industry that's been very professional services focused, and getting out of that mindset and making it more like every other tech industry out there. I mean, even if you think about things like CRM and data visualization, they're not professional services focused industries anymore. They are much more product focused and user enablement and self-service. And our industry is not there yet. So that's really what's got me going right now. And that's why we're doing what we're doing today.
It's a good mission to be on. And what do you think is kind of the biggest uphill battle of making a shift within a big landscape?
The hardest part is that right now, I haven't found anybody else is trying to do exactly what we're trying to do. There are bits and pieces here and there. There are some forward-thinking companies out there that are doing some interesting things, but nobody's put together the complete mindset, the complete shift that needs to happen to really change this industry. I kind of equate what we're going through, what we're trying to do right now, to what Mark Benioff did with Salesforce back in the day, where, he used to compete with Onyx and companies like that, where, it was still that very professional services mindset. And he revolutionized this idea of cloud computing and having a system that was democratized for users. And we're trying to get there with the ERP system. And it covers a lot of vectors of the relationship. It's not just the way you're billed and the costs that you incur to have the ERP system. It's the whole relationship and the way people work. One of the things I was just thinking this morning that really hit me, one fundamental way that every ERP company could change how they think about their business is to stop treating their professional services organization as cost of goods and put them in the expense category. And then orient your decision making around that. That'll fundamentally change the way you interact with your customers and your prospects and the way you run your business. But nobody does it. Everybody's got this big line item for professional services and in their cost of goods. And it really shapes the way companies think about how they go to market. And so we're turning that on its head, for the better, for the customer's benefit, not for ours. There are challenges for us that we have to solve still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Richard, you said over the past 40 or so years that the ERP landscape has not changed a ton. Makes me think of the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. As you're making these progressions, trying to make a big change, flip it on its head, as you said, how are you going about educating consumers, educating prospects about why this way is, or the new way of doing stuff is the right way of doing stuff?
Yeah. And that's really the hard part, because everybody is searching. When you're out looking for information, you're looking for the old way because that's all people know. So yeah, we're out there. We're producing a lot of educational materials right now. We're trying to make sure we're leading with the why things are done the way they're done and what we think is wrong with that and why there's a better way and what that better way is. So lots of examples out there. One of the favorite things that we've addressed that I know customers absolutely hate is they don't want to pick up the phone and call their ERP provider, whether it's the publisher or a reseller, because every time they do, they get an invoice, even if they're just asking a simple question. That behavior's got to stop. It's not as pervasive as it used to be. People have moved away from it to more managed service contract ideas, but it's still an additional expense for people. Do you want the managed service contract, or do you want to get billed every time? And it's just so customer unfriendly, and it doesn't drive the industry to improve the way it delivers information. So if I am incented to generate revenue by having customers call in and answer their questions, why would I become more efficient and deliver information better and deliver it in a one-to-many fashion and in a more automated way and make it more self-service? There's no incentive to do that because the revenues are so high from the other billing model.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you said you've been kind of in this space since 1997.
Yeah.
At what point did you kind of embark on the mission you're on now? Was there a light bulb moment? Maybe halfway through, maybe early in the career, maybe recently? What kind of made you want to flip that switch?
I've always been somebody who plays devil's advocate or a skeptic when it comes to everything. So almost from the beginning, things felt a little wrong, but there are phases in technology. So if you look at the way Microsoft has done things, Bill Gates was such a visionary, great guy, but he was too early with the technologies he tried to deploy. Think about the early 2000s. He had a tablet PC, but the screens got all scratched and it wasn't a good experience and things were slow to load. And it was basically a scaled down PC, but the processing speed wasn't there. He was just too far ahead of his time to make it work the way it needed to. He also had, a vision for these media companies and streaming, having deals with cable companies and being media conglomerates. And that was way ahead of its time. But look at where streaming is today. Look at where iPads are. Those things have come to pass. So back in the 90s, things that were bothering me, and I've always had this idea that the relationship with the customer has been bad. It's not really until the last 4 or 5 years or so that we've had this technological boom that's allowing us to do the things we want to do and in a way that we want to do them, to unlock these new relationships and solve a lot of the problems that have plagued the industry for years. We could have done it earlier, but now people are ready for it. The industry's ready for it. Part of the problem is people view ERP as just this huge, complex nightmare of a project, and it doesn't have to be that way. So that's a lot of the challenge too, is changing people's thinking about how ERP works and how hard it is to implement, because everybody thinks they've got this very unique business they're running. I've got a little secret for every business owner out there. The unique part of your business isn't what you think it is. Your unique differentiator is that product or that idea make the rest of your business boring, right? Do what everybody else is doing. Don't try and have a crazy commission structure, crazy pricing structure. Your customers don't care about that stuff. Focus on what the customer wants and make the rest of it simple. And your ERP journey can be really simple. So that's one of my 15 big ways our industry is broken.
No, I like it. And then I also like just keep it simple, make it easy to execute. And the customers are going to be easy to adopt. It's easier said than done, of course, but I like the mindset.
Yeah, there's very little reason your internal processes need to be hard.
I recently read a book. I'm not sure if you can see it back there, but That'll Never Work. It's about the early days of Netflix and just how you mentioned Steve Jobs or Bill Gates.
Jobs is on the other end.
Yeah, just people that were ahead of their time with technology, and read about Netflix. It's like the ways people were setting was they'd walk into a DVD rental store, pick their movie, walk out, bring it back. But then they started rolling out ship to your house. People were slow to adopt that, but then they realized how convenient it was. And then when streaming came about, same thing. Slow to adopt, but once they realized how convenient it was, then now we flash forward to 2025, and that's the only way to do essentially videos, movies, TV shows. So,
yeah. And now the streaming services are starting to insert commercials into our commercial-free movies.
Yeah. They're finding a way. They're capitalizing. Who knows? In 2045, 20 years down the line, there might be something brand new. We could be wearing VR headsets, lots of technological advances to go now.
Yeah, we'll just have the Neuralink chip in our brain and we'll be streaming movies to Neuralink.
Elon's going to make some waves on that one.
Yeah.
But speaking of technology advancements, obviously there's been a big influx of AI in the tech space now. How is that impacting the ERP sector, and is that making it easier for you to do what you're trying to do? Is it making it more challenging? How are you looking at it?
So for us as a company, it's making it a lot easier. For our competitors, probably making it a lot harder. And here's why I say that. The challenge for our competitors is they are so human based. And I don't say that as it's a bad thing. You need humanity in your business. You need that human connection. You need to be people and solve problems with people. But so much of the way our competitors' businesses run is based on human-centric processes. And to try and stick with the old business model and implement AI is just going to squeeze margins and make it really tough for our competitors to run their businesses. So unless they completely transform and put AI at the forefront of what they're doing and rethink the way they operate their businesses and the way they report on their businesses. And I made allusion, or I talked about earlier, the idea that people are not, the professional services side shouldn't be cost of goods, it should be expense. Until companies in our industry start doing that and thinking that way, it's going to cause them lots of problems because it's getting more competitive out there and things are going faster and implementations are getting smaller and people don't want to pay as much anymore as they used to pay for ERP implementations, and they shouldn't, right? The technology's gone so far. So for us, it's great. We're adopting AI everywhere. We have initiatives going back to last year that every department in our company was mandated as a quarterly goal to find ways to streamline what they're doing using AI. And so even in the past few months, we've done things like created new positions in the organization that are filled by AI that'll never be filled by humans. And so it's fascinating to see. It's a great time to be in this business because there's so much room for improvement and change and focus. And so we can really think about what the customers need instead of all these other things and deploy a ton of value for a lot less money.
Very cool. And Richard, without peeling back the curtain too much, what were some of those jobs that you filled with AI?
One of the first things we did is we don't have a sales force, believe it or not. We don't have any salespeople on staff. And from a marketing standpoint, we've been very focused on the educational side and the inbound marketing side of things, which has paid dividends. We actually show up in the zero-click environments. So when GPT models are spitting out answers, we're showing up in those, which is great because we're providing good information to people. But we started doing outbound marketing, and we made it completely automated. It is run by AI bots. So our outbound marketing now, this is a fairly new initiative, the last 4 or 5 weeks, but probably closer to 8 now. But it is completely AI driven. So, and then we'll put a management layer over top of that that's going to be AI driven as well. So that's just one area where we're not hiring people at all. We'll never have people in those positions because there's no need to.
Very cool. It's interesting to hear. And Richard, how big is Stellar One? I know you guys are 25-ish employees.
Yeah, we're 22 people right now. Our company's had an interesting evolution. We were from 2011 through 2024, last year, so 13 years, we were Stellar One Consulting, and we were very much like our competitors. We were trying to be different than our competitors, but we were kind of stuck with a little bit of a legacy way of doing things. We had customers that were used to doing things the old way, and we embarked on this journey and said, hey, we're going to modernize our entire practice and change the way we do business. And we just couldn't do that with our customer base. It just wasn't going to work because people weren't ready to adapt. They didn't buy into that model. We had a few that did, and they loved it. But for the most part, we were being dragged down a little bit, I would say, kept from doing what we thought was the right thing to do by a customer base that wasn't ready for it. So last year, in May of last year, we sold off a majority of that entity and rebranded and started anew. And so we've been off and running for about 16, 17 months right now, doing things the way that we think they should be done, really being focused more on delivering value, productized ERP value, and streamlining the way that the relationship works and taking all the friction out of the customer relationship and making it more like the rest of the tech world instead of the legacy ERP world.
That's awesome to hear. And the main reason I ask is just because obviously you being the CEO, sounds like you got a very outward vision of technological advancements and you're taking AI internally. I was just wondering how you build such a strong culture of kind of forward innovation, being in the tech space. I know, like you said, some things don't change, but sometimes you got to make some things change. So I just wondered if you had any strategies in place to build that sort of culture within the company.
Yeah, that's part of the journey that's difficult. I think at the leadership team level, we're doing pretty well with that. We talk a lot about it. It used to be that it took people 7 impressions of something for it to finally sink in and then get it, right? There was the old metric. Somebody has to hear something 7 times before they really internalize it and start believing it. With all of the noise and chatter and everything else out there today, that number has gone up to about 23 times. So organizationally, because we're trying to do things so differently, we've got people that have done things the old way. It's really a long process to get people to adapt their mindset and truly believe in what we're doing. So part of what we've done with our team is, we've got monthly education, and we do a lot of video internally in order to communicate messages and to keep reinforcing the direction we're going. But we've also hired people from outside the ERP industry as well to give a different perspective on how things are going and where we should be going to, which has a big impact too. So the blending of the people who are experts and have kind of don't have the experience of being in that forward-looking environment, and people who are in a different environment but don't have any ERP expertise has been an interesting interplay and fun to watch. So we bring that together internally, and then starting to bring that to our customers as well. Some of that different mindset and different attitude. So it's fun right now. There's a lot of chaos. There can be a lot of mistakes made in the next year or so, but that's okay, right? We're going to learn. Our customers are going to learn. Hopefully the market will learn and start adopting as well. I think there's enough demand out there right now for us for quite a while, but we're still at on the far right side of the chasm. We haven't crossed the chasm yet to be mainstream. So we're looking for those early adopters and those visionaries out there who know things are broken the way they are and who want to do things a different way. And we're starting to see some traction there.
Yeah, nice. And it sounds like you guys have laid a strong foundation over the years to be able to keep things moving forward. But Richard, we talked about it a fair amount throughout this podcast, but I'd like you to summarize it. What's the mission that Stellar One is on right now?
Yeah, we want to make it really easy for companies to scale and grow and do that by putting in good core foundational systems and having a team of expert advisors that are strategic with you and your business, not there to do the tactical things, right? You don't need a person to help you run through AP processes. So we're there to help you build your roadmap, put the technology in place to support that roadmap and make you successful as a company. And that's really what it comes down to, is focusing on the customer success, and then ours takes care of itself.
Nice. I love it. And the last question for you before we wrap up, if you could leave one message for the ERP landscape, what's that one message going to be?
Oh boy, I've got so many things I want to say. For me, it's, the time has come. It's time to do things a new way. And that way is here. It is about to happen. And I would love to have as many people on this journey with us as possible, because it's going to make everybody better. For the customers out there, be adaptable. Don't take the old answers and accept them, push back, make people do things differently. Don't just take people at their word. And that's hard, because people only implement ERP systems once or twice in their career, if that. And so they don't know enough to know what to push back on. But if something seems wrong and doesn't match up with the rest of technology, push back and don't accept the answers that don't seem right.
I like it. Be open to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it. And Richard, we can begin to wrap up now, but I'll be sure to tag your LinkedIn and Stellar One's website down in the description. But is there anywhere else people can connect with you on?
The best way for me is LinkedIn. I'm good on LinkedIn. We also have a YouTube channel as well, where we have educational videos and a lot of content out there. Those are the best 3 places to find us.
Perfect. I'll tag all that down in the description. But for everybody tuning in, thank you for giving us your attention. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Richard, thank you for taking the time to come on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you, Oliver. Thank you for letting me rant for 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. I'm glad we can make it happen. But once again, thank you, everybody. Richard, thank you one more time. Have a good one.
Have a great day. Thanks.
Bye.